This is going to require some context. For a long time, obviously I've been making costumes, cosplay, but I also roller skate. So normally during Halloween, I put the two together. The Halloween sessions I go to, I'll have Halloween sessions. Everyone dresses up, skate for the night, have some fun. So usually I go a little extreme almost every year, and I make something a little out there. About 2 years ago, I made Robocop. At this point, he's a little kind of in a state of disarray, but that's okay. This year, I was making a Halloween costume, but not for roller skating, but for a convention in November. Still has a way to go, and after making some of this, which this is probably not even going to be seen in screen, it's a little too big to skate in. So that gave me a little bit of a conundrum. I'm like, well, this being for a convention in November, still kind of Halloween themed. It's Robbie the Rabbit from Silent Hill 3, if you can even see that in camera. And I'm like, okay, the horror game, Halloween fits, but this is way too big to skate in. So that leads me to my little dilemma I have. I still need to make something to skate in for Halloween. I still have my Robocop suit. This was actually the first suit I've made on this channel, just to kind of get used to making everything or video-wise. So I'm like, okay, I still have this. It needs a lot of work. I don't know if it even fits anymore, but if it does, I have some ideas. I'm not just going to wear the same thing again. It needs reworked. It needs a lot of work because this was a very rushed project. I think what I will do is turn Robocop into a zombie. It does not make any sense within the context of the Robocop universe, so bear with me. Visually though, I think it might look cool. So I'm going to give this thing a try, see if it still fits. If it fits enough, I think I found out what I'm going to be wearing for Halloween this year. I am not expecting this to fit as well as it did before because I am, in fact, fatter than I was 2 years ago when I made this. Alright, hats off. Also, I am sweaty. I did just get back from skating too, so don't mind me. This isn't a build breakdown for this thing. I do have an entire series for this, but the entire side separation here, it is separated for the sake of comfort and ease of putting on. It's held on the inside with elastic, but it allows the separation here. If that wasn't there, it would tear. Okay, so it's not terrible. I did gain a few pounds, as you can see, squeezing out the side, but it's not that bad. Yeah, so now when I originally made this, there was another layer that went here. I removed it entirely because when you're skating, you need to have the ability to do this. You need that core ability to maintain your balance. So I needed that to have a little bit of extra twist, which I still don't have, partially because of the fat, but not so much that, but because there's so much from the armpit down here that is rigid. That will make skating difficult, as usual. What that means then, this works, it fits. And I can't see because I don't have my glasses. But it fits, kind of. There's a lot of flaws in this. What I'll do is I'll take note of the flaws, and if I can work around them to do the whole zombification, that will work. A couple bullet holes, scratches, rips. I might even repaint the whole thing to kind of really make it look like, you know, Robocop's been dead for a while. So yeah, I think this will work. So I have 1 month to do this in between another project. So let's see how this works out. All right, so the plan then is going to be, I'm going to hit every piece one at a time. So up first, I'm going to tackle the part I hate the most. That's the helmet. Wearing it, it was fine. I mean, spoiler alert, I think most of the armor needs a lot of reworking, which hopefully I'll try and get to, but the helmet needs the most. So originally the idea I had was that I would do some kind of like zombie paint or something underneath, but these Halloween sessions that I do more than just one. You know, I'm going all weekend, so I don't want to do all that. So the idea that I had to kind of remedy that was to get a zombie mask. Didn't really feel like buying one, but when I was in Walmart, I found this. It's a face mask with a movable jaw of a skull. So my idea is I have a ton of foam clay. I apologize for my voice. I'm obviously getting more and more sick. I never seem to not be sick. I'll take some foam clay and kind of do some like fake skin, muscle, and stuff like that, and turn the skull into a zombie face. Let that dry for a few days. And then what I'll do is that I'll put that inside this, probably gut out all the interior mounting stuff so that it can fit, and then start figuring out how to mount that to this. As far as this jaw piece goes, I'll probably just permanently attach it to the jaw on this. No need to have double the tension for that. I'm not 100% sure yet on the exact design of what I want to do with the helmet yet, because there's a lot of things on this that I don't like. But on top of this, you can see all the running paint. And if you look down the center, you can see a seam where I kind of had to split it and add a piece in because of how screwed up the front was. You can also see the seam in the front center. This entire visor here has a tendency to kind of want to pull itself up, even though I want it to be down. I could probably fix that by slicing this and adding an extra piece. Obviously it means I'll have to repaint everything anyway, which I think I'm gonna have to do anyway. So a lot of stuff is gonna get reworked. I don't know if I want to go as far as making a whole new thing. It really depends, but we'll see. But first things first, we'll do this, and then we'll figure out where we go with this afterwards. For the zombie skin, I used foam clay from Hobby Lobby. I laid down a very thin layer of foam first, to use as a base for any details later. I mainly wanted to keep it thin, because too much bulk would make the cap harder to fit later on. Once I had the base layer on, I then went ahead and started adding additional details, like puffing out the brows, and adding skin to drip over the cheekbones. I then moved on to the jaw, just doing enough to make up what would look like some muscle tissue. I knew this would still expose my cheeks a little, so I used some thin 3mm foam to use as a filler on the inside of the jaw to help hide my face a little. And once the contact cement for that was dry, I glued them in place, and then went back to detailing the face a little bit more with foam clay. And before I was done, I used a cup of water to re-wet the surface of the clay, kind of smushing it down to force the skin into a sagging position. All right, so we have our guy here now. I'm liking it. As for how much of this will actually be seen, I don't know. It's kind of hard to tell with the camera and the lighting because it's all black. Plus, I just wetted everything down too, just to kind of like get that skin, that like oozy feeling. Once it dries, we'll see what it looks like. But what I mean though is, of course, the helmet's going to be over top of it as well. So I'll have to kind of like pick and choose features on this that I like, and then I'll make sure to cut the helmet in those spots to show off these spots. But as you can see, I have done a little bit of like overhang on the jaw for the skin, and then I added an extra piece of foam to kind of fill in the inner cheeks, so it hides my face more. And then I added a little bit of extra foam clay there to kind of like simulate muscle, tendon, that kind of stuff, cheek tissue, and just stretchy goop. It will dry uneven with a bunch of bumps. I am fine with that. I don't have no intention of trying to smooth anything out, because if it's going to be a zombie, it's going to be, you know. But anyway, I'm going to let this sit and dry for at least a day. This kind of stuff, usually one day is fine enough. So probably tomorrow night, I'll pull it back out, take a look at it, see how it looks, and then we'll move forward with the rest of the helmet. By the next day, the foam clay on the face was dry. It came time to work on the cap. I started by gutting the lights and putting the mask inside to see how much room I needed. This is going to require some serious modifications to make the mask fit, so I figured it was best to split the whole helmet in half to figure out exactly how much space I needed. I used painter's tape to fill the gap and marked that with a marker. And once my tape template was made, I transferred that to EVA foam to be put in between the two halves of the helmet. With that all done, I wanted to rework the lighting. The original lighting wasn't the color that I wanted, but it was close enough at the time. But this time around, I wanted all red, so I snipped the existing LED free and replaced it. Up next was the battle damage. This was to serve a few purposes. 1, to show off the zombie face, and 2, extra visibility. I had done some sketches prior to doing this, just to get an idea of what would look cool on the helmet. And because I was going to be repainting all the armor, I was fine with using a Sharpie to draw on the helmet before carving. I repeated this process over and over until I was happy with all the little bits of damage that I had created. I then tried to figure out how I wanted to mock up my red LEDs, and then gave it a test fit. Just placing the visor strip higher didn't illuminate the face as well as I wanted, nor did it light up the visor slit at all. So I decided to fold the strip on top of itself and glue it over just one half of the visor opening. But spoilers, I do change this further along in the build due to a fitment issue. So I'd say I'm about 3/4 of the way with where I want this. So I have repurposed the LEDs that were already inside it with a new LED. And then I kind of cut it in half, rolled it over, just so it'll be on one side. The idea is, because we have all the breakage here, I want to have like maybe like a half a plate of the visor here, It'll also kind of help hold the shape a little bit, kick that out some, and then kind of give the idea that, yeah, this is all broken. On top of that, it's not much more gore I want to do to this. I think this is fine as it is. You can kind of see for me putting things off and on while it was still a little wet really screwed that up, but that's not going to be seen, so that's fine. Dried pretty good. You can see there's still some wrinkles. It's not the best it could be, but I think it's fine. I am undecided right now if I want to do the jaw piece or not, because with it on, it's going to kind of hide everything and not so much sell the idea that, you know, Robocop is a zombie. Or at the least, you know, now that I think about it, you know, Robocop, the skin on his head or on his face, it's not really living tissue, right? I mean, I'm trying to remember what all was actually left of him in the original film. But would it decay over time? So if he was on the force long enough, you know, maybe this is what he would just look like naturally. You know, kind of like that one scene in Robocop 2 where they're trying to do all the tests to, or experiments to do another Robocop, and the one comes out and it's like, and looks just like that. So I'm gonna do a quick test run here. Basically, another thing I should mention too, I think I might just make this helmet a two-parter, because it's a lot easier to put on like this. With this first, and then this afterwards. Alright, so we'll have to find the right height for this. That seems about right. It's a little lower, maybe, I don't know. Okay, now that that's the right height. See how the jaw looks. And then without. While I did like it without, it didn't feel right without the jaw strap. So I chalked it up to the existing piece, just not fitting the mask properly. So, I decided to make one just for this mask. I started by making a paper template, just wrapping paper around the jaw, figuring out the exact shape that I needed. Once I was happy with what I had, I took those pieces apart and started transferring them to foam. Cutting everything out, I gave the bottom portion of the large piece a 45-degree inward cut, and the same with the underpiece and the chin, as these would all need a 90-degree angle bend. The top portion of the main strip just got a straight cut, as it'd be beveled with a Dremel later. I then used my contact cement to glue all 3 pieces together. And once the new jaw strap was all put together, I put it up against the mast to see how it looked, and it fit 100 times better than the last one, so I decided to glue it on. To glue the jaw strap on, again, just use more contact cement, coating both surfaces, and waiting for them both to dry before pressing together. And that's that for this episode. Up next will be the body pieces, making corrections and doing battle damage. I'll see you in the next one.